Mic check. Oh, excuse me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, because he's whispering.
Yeah, because I'm not talking very loud.
Here, let me turn.
We can take our seats. We'll get ready to start. I see a lot of green tonight in the audience. You guys all got the memo on the green today. That's great. Some sparklies. So thank you. I'm going to go ahead and call our meeting to order. And welcome everybody to our December board meeting. This is going to be a wonderful evening this evening. We get to celebrate as well as get some business done. So on that note, we'll go ahead and start. We have the pleasure this evening to have two wonderful humans to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. So I'm going to introduce Raylinda and Elsa Estrella to come up and lead us in our pledge this evening. Very nice. Thank you so much. I don't know who enjoyed that more, us or you. Wonderful. Okay. All right. So we have the pleasure this evening to welcome two new trustees to our family. We are going to do our swearing in for them first, and we'll get that done. We're going to call each one up separately. They'll take their oath of office. They'll go over and James will be first. You'll take yours. You'll stand over there. And then Vanessa will come in and she'll take hers. And then we'll do pictures, and then we'll come up and take care of a little bit of business before we have our little reception. So on that note, would you like to say anything, Dr. Bob? No? Okay. Then I'm going to ask James Chow to come on up with his family. Yes, perfect.
Okay. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
James, can you introduce your family to us?
Yes. This is my son, Connor. Can you say hi, Connor?
Yeah. Hi.
Oh.
This is my wife, Vanessa, and this is my mother, Greedy.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you so much.
How about you? No, do the microphone.
No, do not. All right. Now we have Vanessa Estrella. All right. Coming up with her family.
I
State your name.
Vanessa Estrella,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of California
of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear truth,
that I will bear true
faith,
faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I
that I
take this up
that I
and that I will well
and faith
will well
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to
enter.
enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Thank you.
Vanessa, can you introduce your family?
This is my daughter Elsa. She is in third grade and she's 8 years old. This is my daughter Raylinda. She is in 7th grade and she's 13 years old. And this is my husband Ray. I'm not going to say his age.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Now, will our new trustees please come and sit up at the dais? Get comfortable, get your seats all. Has a little thing on the side, you can go up and down. Fancy chair. Okay, all right. Now we're going to start our organizational meeting for the board for our 2024-25 calendar year. Education Code Section 35023, 35140, and 35143, and Board Bylaws 9121 and 9123 require the Board of Trustees to determine the following items at its organizational meeting for the 2024-2025 calendar year. First, we have to elect a president, a vice president, and a clerk. We have to appoint the superintendent as secretary to the Board of Trustees, approve the proposed 2025 board meeting dates and location, select a representative and an alternative to serve on the Orange County School Boards Association. Select a representative and an alternate for the County Committee on District Reorganization. So we need to get through those things right now. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start with our first order, which is selecting our president. So we are opening up our nominations for president. Do I have a motion for president?
I'd like to nominate Trustee Berryman as board president.
Thank you.
I'd like to second that.
Okay. There's been a nomination to vote for Bev Berryman for president. It's kind of awkward, right? Yeah, it's for me. Thank you. And it's been seconded.
Just speaking of third person.
Yeah. Anybody want to vote for that person? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. I accept. Thank you. Then we're going to go on to vice president nominee. Is there a motion for our vice president nomination? Is there a nomination?
I'll move for Ruthie Hanchett to be the vice president.
All right.
I second.
So it's been moved that we vote for Ruthie Hanchett, and it's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? Okay, thank you. Congratulations. Yay. And then we're on to our clerk nominee. Do we have a nomination for our clerk?
I would like to nominate Trustee Takor for clerk.
Okay. Decor?
I'll second.
It's been moved that we nominate or vote for Trustee Takor for clerk. It's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? No? Okay, thank you. Congratulations. Get ready to sign all those pieces of paper. You're going to be best friends with that notary wherever he is. Appoint our superintendent as secretary. So do I have a motion to appoint our superintendent as secretary?
I
I will motion to appoint Dr. Bob Pletka as our secretary.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we appoint our superintendent as secretary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, thank you guys. I know it seems like our board has kind of a protocol, so that's kind of how we go through this, just so that you guys know why that happened so quickly. All right, we need to approve our 2025 board meeting dates. They have been provided to our board a couple of times. We've taken a look at them. Does anyone have any problems, or are we okay with what has been presented?
I'll move to approve as presented.
Okay. Okay, it's been moved. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the 2025 board meeting dates as presented. All those in favor say aye.
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 And just know that at any time, we might add study sessions or times when we need to pull together a special meeting, but we use those as this is our guideline. Anything in addition, we'll add on, and of course, our public will have plenty of notice to know that, so thank you. Okay, we're not voting for our political action committee. In the past, we, CSBA, our Orange County School Board Association, had a PAC committee where we would all vote for one person to represent us on that. They no longer have that, so we are not going to do that this year. So we don't have to do that one. But we do have to vote for a representative for the county committee on school district organization for 2024. And that group would actually be, that person would be the person that would nominate people for that committee. In fact, we just did that. So do we have, and last year it was Trustee Talavera. The alternate was Trustee Tucker. This year, do we have a nomination? Anybody want to do that?
Trustee Takor, you want to go primary?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay.
I accept.
All right. Second? Do we have a second? Do we need a second? We need a second, right? Okay. Do we have a second for that?
I'll second.
Okay, Ruthie seconded. Okay, that we vote for, that we have Irene represent us on this committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then we need an alternate in case for some reason Aruni can't do that. We need a alternate for that. So anyone would like to do that?
Ruthie, do you want to do it?
I'm happy to.
I nominate Trustee Hinchett to be the alternate.
Called to duty. But
Okay.
yes.
Second.
All right, it's been nominated and seconded that we have Ruthie be the alternate for that. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so we got our organization. We have our positions. We've got our one committee. We have our dates. And on that note, we are going to take a break to celebrate, giving our families time to enjoy their board members before you guys decide who's going to stay and who's going to go. So is 10 minutes long enough for you guys? 15? What do you guys think?
We'll start with
15? Okay, 6:30. So you get 16 minutes to celebrate. All right. And then come on, but we need to take pictures, so don't go anywhere. We need to come up here. Your families, our new trustees need to take pictures, so don't run yet. We're all back? There's plenty of seats up front for anyone that wants to sit down. We don't bite, we promise. Thanks, Paul. Take it for the team. There you go, right, front center. Okay, well, welcome back. Now we're going to go ahead and we'll start back up again. We're going to start on our reports this evening. So we'll start with our superintendent with his report.
So first, just to welcome James and Vanessa, and we're so glad you're here. We appreciate your service, your leadership, and your courage to come. But I will say this is my favorite meeting of the year. It is a significant moment for our district, for your families, and for yourselves. So just to say welcome. And we appreciate your active service and leadership that you're giving to our kids and our community and our families. So thank you. And it was nice to meet your families as well. That's great. I also want to take a moment just to acknowledge Jeremy and the entire IIS. They were recognized at the California School Boards Association for their leadership in the area of FSD Fest, but it's also a celebration of every staff member, every teacher, every classified staff, every technician. It really is everybody coming together to make that event so special, including our parents who come out on a Saturday, and including to all the kids. And if you've never been, it's actually a pretty spectacular event. The kids are so excited. You want to see agency. You want to see a sense of pride that they have. It really is a special event. And it really is a district effort here that extends beyond IIS. But I do want to thank IIS for all your leadership, and we appreciate the good work that everyone does. Have a round of applause for everybody.
Thank you. Right, and at this time, what we do is we'll open it up to our Board of Trustees. This is a time where we can share with our other trustees things that maybe we've done or whatever you would like to share with the public, with the rest of us. So we have no rhyme or reason on how we do this. Sometimes we just start from one side, we start from the other side. How about if we start today with Ruthie, and then we'll go from there. So.
Sure. Well, I'm going to keep mine uncharacteristically short. I figured we'd have a lot to cover today. But you all know many of us had a chance to go to the CSBA, California School Board Association, this last month, and it is always just a very encouraging and inspiring time to be there. One of my favorite things I keep thinking about was our one of the main lectures on the science of well-being and the psychology of happiness, and just bringing back to there are scientifically proven ways to make yourself happier, and the opportunities that we have to take responsibility to do what we know helps us, and that helps others as well. So I keep returning to that a lot since we were able to experience that. But I also got to learn quite a bit from other experiences of schools and other school districts. I went to one session on dual language and lessons learned from a dual language program from Westminster. I went to another on inclusive and transparent approaches to special education from Santa Ana Unified School District. And then Bev and I got to attend a youth advisory and student voice discussion from 2 youth leaders. Some of these we got to talk about over lunch, but it's something that if we want to continue these conversations, I find these real life experiences really valuable. So I wanted to just share. I learned some great things from there. Another thing I got to do this month that I really enjoyed was attend 2 of our dance performances at our junior highs. So I got to watch the Ladera Vista Junior High dance team and PE 1s and 2s and dance 1, 2, and 3 and dance team, as well as Nicholas Junior High dance teams. And it was so fun. I love seeing the beauty, the power, the joy, the emotions that our students are able to communicate through their bodies and through music. And I love hearing the kids cheer each other on. Just get up on stage at 12 or 13 years old in front of your peers takes a lot of courage, and these kids are really amazing. And it makes me really, really grateful that we have dance as a PE option in so many of our public schools, and our kids have this experience not only to perform, but to every day have that experience of having dance as a part of their day-to-day life. So it was a real joy, and I appreciate our teachers and our staff that make that possible.
Thank you. James?
So in terms of things to report, this is my first meeting, so nothing significant to report, so I'll just introduce myself and offer a few remarks. My name is James Cho. I live in West Fullerton, and I'm happy to be here. I'm a Lieutenant Colonel in the Air Force Reserves, but my day job is to work for the County of Orange at the Social Services Agency, where we help people get free health insurance, food assistance, and to protect the elderly and children from abuse. So I hope to bring some of that expertise here. Secondly, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the contributions of my predecessor, Mrs. Hilda Sugarman. My upbringing was successful in large part because of the work that she and other members of the school board of trustees did. So I want to thank her for her service. It's not lost on me that I'm the first Korean American representative on this board. We have a lot of Korean students in this district. My dad moved us here because of this very district. The state of the school district is strong, and so I want to get out of the way and let the teachers, the classified staff, the management team continue to do the good work that they're doing. And in terms of my priorities, it's transparency and really connecting the parents to the goodness that's already happening. And with that, I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you for your time.
Welcome. We're so happy to have you. All right. Aruni?
Just adding on to the fact that we've got a new board here, and I'm so proud of the work that Trustee Estrella and Trustee Cho did during this campaign. It wasn't easy. Meeting voters face to face at their doorstep. They're not expecting you. They don't really want you there, actually. You know, what I'm most proud of also, though, is that you all stuck up for your values. And, you know, it's easy there's a bond going on. You could maybe say, I don't support this to try to win some votes or something. I mean, you were always honest. You were always upfront. You did the hard work, and I'm just so proud to see you both here and on this dais, and I can't wait to also learn from you. And I'm so inspired by both of you, and I look forward to the work that we're all going to do together. So congratulations.
Vanessa?
Hello, everyone. I think a lot of you here already know me as the past DLAC president. Well, I do have something to report. I, too, attended the CSBA training for the new trustee training. It was very informative, very educational. It was definitely overwhelming. I'm not going to say it wasn't, because it was. It was a ton of information, but I am excited. I am ready to learn, and whatever I don't know, trust me, I will come up to you and ask you, because I am one of those people that says there's no such thing as a wrong question. If you don't ask a question, you're not going to learn. So I will be asking, hi, Louis. I will be asking questions. I did do a workshop on the superintendent evaluation, which is coming up pretty soon. That was interesting. I did another workshop on the Brown Act and a few other ones with our fellow trustees. Again, it was so informative. I am so excited that I was able to give in the chance to be able to attend this even before I got sworn in. So I thank everybody. The Executive Cabinet has been more than welcoming, Paul, everybody who has reached out, and I've been able to meet with every single one of them. And I know that if I have any question, as I have already, I've emailed them and asked them questions, and everybody here has been so welcoming. I am so excited. I was happy to hear that Mayra is my predecessor at DLAC, and I'm happy to work with her. I've already reached out, and I said, hey, if they haven't reached out to you, I will come to you. I will help you. I will go to the meetings with you, because that's what this is all about, working together with the teachers, with the staff. I'm excited to be able to get to know a lot of you and get to be able to work with you and collaborate and make this district even more successful than it already is, because it takes a village, and I'm excited and I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I'm excited to take this on. So thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. And I, too, want to welcome you guys to our board. I think this is going to be a great year. As I've said before, whatever we can do to help you as board members, to walk you through anything, any questions. Like you said, there's never a stupid question, right? It's just, if you don't ask it, it's stupid, right? So
well, I didn't say stupid, but yeah,
yeah.
there's no such thing as
there's no questions that are not to be told, right? So it's a learning process, and I think that as we move through this is our time as a board to be able to meet. Right? We can't have conversations outside of this area. And so it is that getting to know each other. It's trying to figure out what are the passions of each other, and what do we all are bringing to the table. And it's wonderful that we have perspective and to have different diverse cultures and to be able to represent our community is very, very important. So I'm looking forward to this next year. I think we're going to do great things. So thank you guys and welcome aboard.
How about one more round of applause for our 2 board members?
And I always say we don't always have to agree, but we have to be able to have conversations, right? And at the end of the day, then we vote and we move forward. So on that note, we had, as you said, we were able to attend the California School Board Association meeting. 2-3 days of conferences, learning and gathering more information, learning about wellness, learning how to be happy, which sometimes is easy to do and sometimes not easy to do, but we're all going to be happy, right? So if we're happy, everyone's happy, because everyone looks at the board, so we need to make sure we're that way. I've had the opportunity this is the season of performances. And I had the opportunity to see the stage productions this time, and so going to each one of them and watching the flavors at Laguna Road, at Valencia Park, at Acacia, and seeing our students who have just blossomed, right? You have children that English is their second language. You have children that are, struggling at school. You have children who are shy. And they are coming up to the stage and they're performing, if it's just an Oompa Loompa or if it's, someone at that has the lead. It has just been a wonderful opportunity to see our programming. And when we talk about our arts programming and our Prop 28 money, the extra money that you get, we really want to make sure that we're putting that towards things that are adding to our arts programs and our stage program. If you guys haven't had a chance to go see our stage performances, they're wonderful. So thank you guys for all the hard work in doing that. Phil, I know you're here somewhere, so thank you for making that happen. We really appreciate it. Our SEL team has been out and about. We've been able to see some things that they're doing. I love the fact that our staff go and our team hit all these community events and they pass out information on mental health, right? It's not just taking care of your children, how to be a good parent or all these things. It's how can we help ourselves? How can we help our community and how can we help our children? So I truly appreciate all that you guys do and making sure that people are mindful, that people are taking care of themselves, right? Because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of our families. We can't do the things that we need to do. So staying healthy for us is very, very important, and it's harder than we think. So it's okay not to be okay sometimes, and thank you for making sure that everybody knows that. So on that note, I will, and sometimes I just get caught up in everybody's board reports that I forget that I'm supposed to run a meeting. So bear with me.
You got this.
All right, we're moving on to information from our association. So, Fida. I'm throwing you first. That's what it says right here. Darlene is going to come in.
Am I on?
You're on.
Okay. I got a lot because I
Okay.
haven't done 3 reports, right? So bear with me. I even added more stuff, just saying. Good evening, President Berryman, board members, Dr. Pletka, cabinet, FETA members, and guests. Welcome and congratulations to our 2 new board members, James Cho and Vanessa Estrella. Thank you for taking on this position, and we look forward to meeting with you both after the holiday break. A special shout out to Beth Ellison and Andy Montoya, who were nominated for the California League of Middle Schools Educator of the Year Award, and Andy Montoya won. We definitely have amazing teachers and staff. Since I did not get to officially say congratulations on the record to Sheila Hubert for her Translator of the Year award last month, I would like to do it now. I don't know if she's here. Yeah, I'll have to do it again next month, sorry. Okay. Dr. Coughlin, thank you for all your hard work and sleepless nights on the Measure N campaign. It passed. Hopefully you and your team have been able to catch up on lost times with family and friends and have celebrated the victory of your successful work. The journey of visiting all 21 school sites, including distance learning, has been completed. Now I get to visit specific classrooms when invited to either support, read a book, or do an art project. I appreciate Karina Tran, Beth Zollner, Nikki Mahar, Susan Bojorquez, I hope I said it right, Jessel Contreras, Susan Kitley, and Liana Pianchi for letting me work with your students on holiday projects. It's one of my favorite things to do. Thanks to Phil Ling for the invitation to the Source to see the K-pop practice. I have heard so much about K-pop, and now I understand it. Congratulations to those students who made it to the next steps in the process. I look forward to being invited to the finals. Last Friday, I had the opportunity to visit Nicholas and watch their winter dance program. Angela Kim is truly a talented FSD employee. The Fundamentals dance group melted my heart and brought tears to my eyes. The audience of Nicholas students was full of cheers and encouragement for their friends. What an incredible morning. It has been my honor to see all the amazing staff at each site. As stated before, each site has its own special uniqueness, and we have been able to share great experiences and ideas with others at various sites across the district. We have now started doing forums with special groups like TOSA's, preschool, PE, SPED, RTI, teachers. It's nice to have different perspectives and understanding of the work and dedication involved in each of these groups. We appreciate Dr. Pletka, Dr. Hammett, Dr. Brown, Dr. Brandon, and all the other doctors and people that we've reached out to in order to help problem solve and answer questions as needed. The PAL retreat, I know I'm going back, it's been a couple of months. The PAL retreat was appreciated by our reps as they were able to have time to bond with their PAL partners and administrators. We really enjoyed seeing the musical talents of so many. We look forward to reigniting the PAL spark with the new things we have learned and to move forward with creating more of our own FSD accomplishments together. Thank you to the FETA reps who donated gift cards for Crittenton for Christmas. And Dr. Sotero Ruiz and Jenny Soul had a presentation from the Carpenters Union this past Saturday, which was such a great opportunity for our parents. I ran into one of my previous parents, and he just got laid off after 20 years. So this was his new career. So it was very cool to see that. So thank you guys for doing that. Lastly, FETA would like to wish you all a very happy holiday season. Enjoy making wonderful memories with your friends and family, and take time to relax and take it all in. Thanks.
All right. CSEA.
Hello, and good evening, President Berryman, Board of Trustees, Dr. Pletka, and Cabinet. My name is Sandra Siebert, and I'm the second Vice President of CSEA. CSEA has had a really busy and productive month. We're excited to share that our Member Unity program is thriving. Not only have we gained new members and increased meeting attendance, but we've also had highly successful Blitz Days. Recently, our labor representative conducted a helpful site representative training refresher. And additionally, our negotiations team has welcomed a new member and is preparing to begin negotiations in January. This month, CSEA also held an election for site representative coordinator, and we are pleased to announce that Joshua Culpepper from Ed Services will be joining the executive board. Yes. CSEA is proud to share that this holiday season, our members came together to nominate and vote to assist 2 families in need. Through this collective effort, we were able to provide meaningful support, demonstrating the strength and compassion of our CSEA community, reflecting our commitment to not only serving our members, but also uplifting our community. On behalf of the CSEA Executive Board and over 800 dedicated classified employees, we want to thank Leonel Talavera for taking the time while serving as a trustee to get to know our classified employees and being a supportive presence in the community. Actions like these make a meaningful difference and set a positive example. We warmly welcome Vanessa Estrella and James Cho to the Fullerton School District community. During the CSEA candidate interviews, you both expressed an interest in knowing more about CSEA, so we are eager to collaborate with you. Together, we can continue to make Fullerton School District not only a premier educational institution for every student, but also a workplace that attracts and retains exceptional classified employees. So we wish you a restful and joyous holiday season.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, Fesma.
Good evening, Board President Berryman, cabinet members, and boards of trustees. My name is Mike McAdam. I'm the Director of Purchasing, Contracts, Warehouse, and Print and Design Center, and also, more importantly, FSMA President. James and Vanessa, congratulations. We definitely look forward to working with you on our management side of it, and I did reach out to you guys, so looking forward to meeting with you guys. Just a few updates. Every Student Succeeding event will be happening January 22nd again at Ladera Vista, 4:30 to 6 o'clock. Please mark your calendars. Plan to attend and support these amazing students and their stories of success. It's an incredible experience, so please, we look forward to having you guys there. As we approach the end of another year, I wanted to take a moment to express my gratitude for our amazing management team, in which every day we are here as leaders and seeing greatness in our team, our staff, and our community. The most importantly, our students. May this holiday season bring you peace, joy, and warmth and cherished moments with loved ones. Here's to a bright and prosperous New Year's filled with opportunities, growth, and happiness. I look forward to another year and shared success and memorable moments we have here at Fullerton School District. So wishing you all a very wonderful holiday season and Happy New Year. And just one more shout out to Shayla, because I love having her say her name behind there. Congratulations again on your award that you received last month. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Do we have a report from DLAC this evening? Yes? You've got this. You got this.
Tú puedes, Mayra. Tú puedes.
So good evening. This evening, President Berryman, school board members, Dr. Pleka, Superintendent, Executive Cabinet, and family members, and welcome to the new board members and trustees that we have here today. My name is Erlinda Soltero Ruiz, and I am very proud to present to you our new DLAC president, and she's going to be reading her report in Spanish, and I'll be translating it after. Okay.
Buenas noches a todos, Presidente Berryman, miembros de la Junta Escolar, Superintendente Dr. Pletka, Gabinete Ejecutivo, todas las personas aquí presentes y los nuevos integrantes. Muchas felicidades. Mi nombre es Mayra Zamora, soy el nuevo presidente de DLAC, un cargo que con mucho gusto y orgullo represento. Nací y crecí en Jalisco, México, soy abogado de profesión y tengo experiencia en educación. Fui subdirector de secundaria mientras vivía en México y ahí fue que descubrí mi gusto por la educación. Hoy estoy aquí por las ganas de trabajar y aprender del trabajo de las escuelas y la institución por el bien de la comunidad y nuestros niños. Soy mamá de 2 niños, ellos están clasificados en el programa de ELD, ya que nuestro primer idioma en casa es el español. Mi niño mayor de 13 años asiste a Parks Junior High School en el grado 8 y en Fern Drive School asiste al tercer grado mi niño menor de 9 años. Quiero agradecer a nuestros principales y representantes por atender nuestra pasada reunión de DLAC la semana pasada. Nosotros tuvimos elecciones y tuvimos nuestro nuevo comité de DLAC. Iris Jung de la escuela Beechwood, Mayra Zamora de la escuela Parks Junior High School y María Lupita Álvarez de la escuela Ladera Vista Junior High School of the Arts, quien servirá por 2 años. También tuvimos una actividad artística sobre las tradiciones navideñas a cargo de la maestra de artes Sandy Bretz. Gracias a todos los maestros, personal y administradores por su entrega, sacrificio y trabajo duro hacia nuestros estudiantes. Verdaderamente apreciamos todo lo que ustedes hacen por ellos. Queríamos desearles a todas las familias de la comunidad de Fullerton unas felices y seguras vacaciones de invierno. Gracias y buenas noches.
Aren't you just mesmerized with their Spanish? It's amazing. So, in translation, my name is Mayra Zamora, and I am the new president of DLAC, a position that I represent with great pleasure and pride. I was born and raised in Jalisco, Mexico. I am a lawyer by profession, and I have experience in education. I was a secondary school assistant principal while I lived in Mexico, and that is where I discovered my love for education. Today, I am here because of the desire to work and learn from the schools and the FSD for the good community and for the good of the community and our children. I am a mother of 2 children. They are in the ELD program since our first language at home is Spanish. My 13-year-old attends Parks Junior High in 8th grade, and my 9-year-old attends Fern Drive in 3rd grade. I want to thank our principals and representatives for attending our last DLAC meeting. We held elections and elected our new DLAC committee, Iris June from Beechwood, Mayra Zamora from Parks Junior High, and Maria Lupita Alvarez from Ladera Vista Junior High School of the Arts, who will serve 2 terms. We also had an art activity about Christmas traditions led by art teacher Sandy Bretz. Thank you to all our teachers, staff, and administrators for their hard work and sacrifice for our students. We truly appreciate all you do. We wish all the families of the Fullerton community a happy and safe winter break. Thank you. So welcome, Ms. Mayra Zamora.
Thank you and welcome. We're happy to have you. All right, PTA.
I need to put this down. How funny. Well, good evening, Dr. Pletka and President Beverman and members of the board. My name is Joanne Cho. I have the pleasure of serving as the president of Fullerton Council of PTAs. And we want to welcome our new board members, James Cho and Vanessa Estrella. It's nice to see you guys from the community. We invite you to visit our PTA association units at a unit level, and you'll hear about ours later. Please reach out to those individual units and for their times and dates and show up and see about our fun PTA stuff that we do all the time. As we're heading into our much needed and very much appreciated winter holiday break, here at Fullerton Council and our individual units are in the thick of holiday philanthropy and celebrations. I know many of your principals and staff has enjoyed Thanksgiving or will be enjoying holiday meals and treats and celebrations provided by our PTA and parents as a way to say thank you for all you do to our students, for our students. We here at Council echo those sentiments, and we'd like to extend them to those of you here on our FSD school board. We know that we are truly grateful for each and every one of you, and that your tireless efforts to support our students, their education, and activities. Even though we are currently in December, please know that our unit memberships campaigns are still going strong at each of our school sites. As of today, we have a total of 4,180 members. We continue to encourage all of our teachers, district units, and staff to join their local PTA units or maybe multiple units. We would love to see our numbers grow and continue to climb. Every membership makes a difference and allows us to do the good things on our campuses. And hey, nothing says happy holidays like a PTA membership. So, as you know, individual PTA units have been working hard to support our local Pathways of Hope program. Units have been gathering food, toys, gifts, and donate to our local collection of the center. I think this last week we delivered all those things and had that done. The program's really awesome and makes a really big difference in the local families who are in need this holiday season. I believe we did about 400 families, served about 400 families. So really a good thanks to all our FSD schools that really participated and did that. Lastly, I do want to remind those of you who have some high school kids, just in case, they have to join their PTSAs by December 31st because we actually offer scholarships. So if any of you guys have the ones that are going up or whatever it is, please remind them to do that. We offer scholarships at a council level, and then there's state ones and there's local ones of the different ones. So just remember, just as a plug, PTA membership. As a reminder, our council meetings are held at Fullerton Joint Union High School District Boardroom on the fourth Tuesday of the month at 9:30. Our next meeting is actually next year on January 21st, 2025. Remember, you can find all of our meeting dates on our website at fullertoncouncilpta.org. Feel free to reach out to me or anybody else on our council anytime at fullertoncouncilpta@gmail.com or on our website. You can do that. We're always happy to hear from you, and we'll see you all in 2025. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you so much. Get that present in now, right? Do we have any public comments?
We do not have any public comments.
No public comments, okay. Then we'll move on. I won't read that right now. Right. We'll go on to our approving of our minutes from November 19th. Do I have a motion to approve?
I motion to approve the minutes from our November 14th meeting.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve our minutes from November 19th. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay. So it'd probably be 2, 3, 3 with 2 abstentions.
They can
Can they
actually,
vote?
technically they can vote.
Oh.
So it's not a.
Oh, great. So let's do that again so you guys get to vote. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Thank you. All right. We are going to now move on to approving our agenda as it's stated. So does anyone have anything they need to move around on the agenda? No? Okay. So is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve the agenda as it is. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, then that leads us to number 10. We have our first presentation for the evening. Jeremy is going to come up and talk to us a little bit about digital wellness, something we're very interested in. More and more important.
I feel bad because Jeremy did do a presentation at the CSBA, and we forgot to mention that. We also attended his presentation.
The
which was
best
amazing.
presentation of the whole conference was our
really was.
Jeremy Davis. It was awesome.
And a shout out to Bev and to Ruthie, who also spoke and introduced and definitely shared their passion, but also the why. And I know that a lot of the board members came up afterwards and thanked both of them and said how much they appreciated the two of them, and of course all of the leadership that Jeremy showed. So thanks. It was,
thank you.
In our unbiased opinion, the best workshop of CSBA.
Thank you. Before I get started, with the Golden Bell that we won for FSD Fest, I really need to make sure we uplift Pablo Diaz back here because he has been there since day one, and he has been integral to the whole thing. So if you don't know Pablo back here, he is the reason we have FSD Fest. So well done, sir. Well done. Okay, so quick update. This is 10 minutes or so, plus any questions we have, because we've talked about a number of these things in the past, but I want to make sure our new board members get an idea of sort of where we've been and where we're going, and then any questions you have, please let me know. So about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, we came up with goal number 5. We changed and added a new board goal, and to add digital citizenship, information and media literacy, and online safety, which was great because anytime the board makes a new goal, it gives us a greater focus on that area. So I've always been a big fan of that. Luckily, I was tapped 14 years ago, 12 years ago, to help write some state standards around information literacy with the California Model Library Standards. So it's always been a passion of mine, but whenever the board makes a goal, it gets to be even more of a focus. So we appreciate that. Sort of what we've done recently and over the last year, a lot of infrastructure work is pretty constant for us as a school district. We have what's called E-rate, and E-rate pays, in our case, about 80% of our infrastructure costs, but it doesn't pay for cybersecurity. However, this year, for the first time, they announced a program where a part of E-rate would potentially pay for cybersecurity. So the issue is the feds announced it was $200 million for the entire country, which is not enough for like Orange County. But it's okay. Instead of losing hope, the group that I'm a part of called California IT and Education, we asked every district to move forward and apply anyway. Because even if almost none of us got it, we would show those in charge, oh my gosh, people asked for $2 billion worth of stuff. We should add more money to this project. So that's our hope. So we did apply. Josh Holmes, right up there, our Director of Network Security and Data Information Systems, put together a great application based on our needs, and we're asking for more. So we're hoping. We'll see what happens there, but we'll know within a couple of months if we get granted that money or not. With the curriculum, we continue to, with Common Sense Media and Second Step, plus a bunch of things we've created on our own. We do actually, as far as cybersecurity goes, those of you who are on the board and those members of the audience who are employees, you know we've been phishing you, especially near the end of last year, to see if any of you would react or to see how that was going. And we think we've scared you really well because like every day somebody sends me something, Jeremy, is this phishing? Oh my gosh, are they trying to get me? What is this, Jeremy? So, which is great. I'm happy to get 3 or 4 of those and answer them all day long because it means everybody has a heightened sense of this could be a problem. Somebody could be trying to steal my information right now. So it's been going well. We do penetration testing. We're in the midst of that right now. We pay the county actually to try and break our network on a consistent basis. So sometimes they tell us they're starting, sometimes they don't, and they'll just call us and say, hey, we need to have a meeting. Let's go through the areas you did great. Let's go through some things we found you need to shore up, some security issues. So we actually pay the county to do that on a regular basis. And every single employee is now under two-factor authentication. So that was another project that we finished up. And it's great because we actually did end up shutting down accounts if they didn't move to two-factor because it's so important to us. Because so many times people are trying to fish into the district. And one of the worst ones that's coming now is like if you got a document from me, you'd probably click on it. You're like, oh, it's a Google Doc that Jeremy shared. I know Jeremy, he's the head of technology. This is great. If someone had hacked me, the easiest way for them to get into the rest of the district is to send a quick Google Doc where you click it and it asks for your username and password. Because then they get into your Google, which means they're connected to everybody, all your students. They're connected to some of your parents that way. So that is vital that we have two-factor authentication. The main reason being that these actors are usually outside of our districts. What happens is when you're trying to get into your Google account, if you are anywhere that's not a familiar network, it will ask you for the code that's on your phone. And then, so that way if someone from another country or if one of the bad actors gets a hold of your username and password, if they are anywhere outside of our district, it'll say, okay, what's your code? And then they can't actually get into the account to start doing to do bad stuff unless they are actually in our district on a computer that you have used before. So two-factor authentication is actually 20 times better than just changing your password, even though we ask people to do that as well. But that project was finished up. So very excited on that end of things. We still have our science, health, and PE teachers doing great work with an SEL, sort of a combined effort on all this sort of how to be a better digital human being and how to just be a great digital citizen. But also how to treat each other well. Mosel we did last year, and we continue pushing it out this year. We continue trying to do Sunday night messages. Parents, remember you can control your kids' iPads at home. Then we've also been doing parent classes. So myself or Pablo have been going to sites in the mornings, in the evenings, in the afternoons, whenever someone wants us to come out. And we've been doing parent classes. And we've been doing a lot with social media. So Amber, yay, Amber, has been doing a lot with pushing out different social media pieces, asking parents to even connect to Governor Newsom. There were some issues around social media. We were hoping that he would sign some bills that were important for us, and those have been signed by the governor, so we're excited for that. And then we have our internet safety webpage where we put a little bit of everything. There actually is a video on there now where Oh no, it's not there yet. We're still, our Korean translator is still making sure that my Korean was perfect, because we used an AI program that actually takes my video, makes my lips move with my tone of voice, but speaking Korean. So pretty cool stuff, but it's a little faster than trying to have one of our employees redo an entire digital wellness video. So it's the same presentation I'm doing for parents that we're now translating into Spanish and Korean that anybody could watch at any time during the day. So those should be up by early January at the latest. And we'll continue doing those videos as we go. We had some really cool survey data we put out to our students. So as you know, we surveyed all of our students last May. And then we did that same survey. We tweaked the questions a little bit. We're learning as we go along here. But we did it again after our first set of digital wellness lessons this year. So some of our big wins, kids that feel safe on district devices went from 72% to 94.8%. So that's great. Kids that don't share photos, pics, or videos online went from a very respectable 89 to a 96. So yay, even better. So I don't know that we'll ever get to 100. But we will try. We will keep telling them not to do that. Don't share their personal information online, 84 to 96. These are great numbers. Kids that know how to manage their privacy settings, 78 up to 85. Kids that know how to report bullying, if it happens to them online, 80 to 91. And how many have a trusted adult on campus that they would report to if something happened to them online, from 70 to 88. So those lessons we worked on at the end of last year really showed a lot of results, and we're very excited for that. We have other pieces of the concerns in the survey data, and whenever we get any concerning information, we rebuild new lessons to make sure that by the end of the year, we've addressed these issues. So the trusted adult, we'd like to go even higher. We'd like to have 100% of kids saying there's someone I trust on this campus that I know cares for me, that I know I could report an issue to if something bad happened. Know what to do if I accidentally shared a photo online. So it was interesting. It went from 61 down to 52. So we're like, okay, I don't know what happened in that year, but it increased to 90 when we asked them, if you don't know how, do you think you could figure it out pretty quickly with Google searches or by asking a trusted adult on campus? Then it jumped to 90. So if they accidentally shared something, they felt they could get it taken care of really quick. So that's good too. So if they don't know, oh, I remember that one site they told us about, I know I can go ask somebody and get this fixed, or at least get down that road. And then this one still, I thought maybe I just wasn't asking the question the right way, so I changed the way I asked the question. We're still not great. But understanding that they lose control of their photos once they've posted it online. We went from 34% to 54%. Not okay. Okay, so we will do more lessons. We did a good one. Like police officer Amanda was there. Like, no, this is you lose control, but it's okay. We'll keep going, because anytime we have these bits of data, we will do it again and again and again, because that one's super duper important, that they understand that they can't get it back. Like, you have posted it, it is gone into the world of whoever grabbed it and wanted it, and it's very hard to get those back. So we'll be working on that. Sort of new, we have 3 new video lessons that we're going to be working on based on those challenges that came out of our data and those concerns. Sandy Hook Promise, that has been implemented. So Mari, where's Mari go? There she is, way up front. Good job sitting in the front row, Mari. All right, so Mari brought us Sandy Hook Promise, which has been going really well. And the great thing about that is when the kids are reporting bullying, it's going to humans who look at it, who assess it, who sort of decide, how severe is this? Do we immediately contact the police? Do we contact the site? Do we just sort of tell the site, hey, some things are going on, in more of a, it's not an emergency kind of situation? So that's been going great. We have the continued adaptation of our second step lessons, so we're going to continue with those. We've gotten great results from the kids on that. And then we're working with the Hunt Library. Part of our time that we get with the Hunt Library, Pablo and his department, they've been working on some escape rooms around information literacy. So that we're going to have field trips where our own kids can go to the Hunt Library. They can sort of do a breakout room based on information literacy skills and sort of their ability to understand what is misinformation, what isn't, how do you do great research, things like that. What else? Tonight, so this I forgot I was before the consent agenda. So you might tonight be approving something called Safe Share TV. And what that does is for our TK to third, we upgraded our filter. So now we can block certain things by grade level. So our goal has been to make it so YouTube wasn't available for our TK to third kids to be able to go to YouTube on their own. So what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to completely block it from the students, but teachers will still be able to grab any video they want, put it into Safe Share, get a new link, and then it will just be the video. There will be no ads, there will be no click here next, nothing on the side, no comments, no anything. It'll just be the video, and that'll be TK through 3. For the upper grade students, 4th through 8th, also potentially tonight, we might approve upgrading Google. And so we've been holding off for a few years, but Google keeps wanting us to pay for Google instead of it being free. So they keep adding more cool features and they keep subtracting cool features from the free version. So because of an old grant that didn't go well with another company that Google bought, they owe us some money, and we've convinced them to double the amount of money they owe us in order to upgrade. So they're going to pay for like the first year and a half of this upgrade out of the 3-year upgrade. So we're excited for that. But it's going to allow teachers that put YouTube into Google Classroom, it will do the exact same thing. It will now clean off all the ads and won't let them go anywhere else. It'll just be what's given to them. However, our TK3 teachers typically use Seesaw and not Google Classroom. So again, we're willing to pay for Safe Share TV for the lower grades that use Seesaw to do the same thing that Google Classroom is now going to do for our upper grades teachers.
Jeremy, can you clarify? So I know under 3rd grade, kids will not have access to YouTube unless a teacher grants it. And I saw parents saying, "Oh, yay!" But then 4th and up, are you saying that they're not going to have ads? I'm looking at this line that says YouTube no ads. Are they? If they are searching on YouTube, they want to look up how volcanoes work. Are they going to see ads pop up?
Yes, they'll still have access to YouTube because it is actually a really good resource for research.
Absolutely.
But what happens is if a teacher assigns a specific video through Google Classroom, it will wipe all of that away. It'll just be the video. It won't take them to YouTube.
If they're doing their own research, they will still have to have parental supervision or teacher supervision if we want to make sure they're not receiving those things.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely. And then we are looking at introducing a new feature through our filter where parents could actually log in and see what's been blocked that their child has been looking for. So we're testing it still because sometimes the salespeople and the engineers don't actually agree on what a product can actually do. So they came, they're like, this is the greatest thing ever. We're like, let's test it before we tell everybody it's the greatest thing ever. So we're running through our tests to make sure, what would a parent see? What would it look like? Is it user friendly? How hard would it be for us to make 12,000 accounts and give those to parents? So we're going to work on that, but we've been looking at that a little bit because we've gotten requests before on, hey, can I see what my child got blocked? Or we've had disciplinary situations where I've actually gone in to sit with some parents and their child and had to show the parents all the things the child had been searching for. And it was very eye-opening for the parent to see some of the things the child was trying to do during the day or at home at night. So we're looking at turning that on hopefully in January, and we'll get a lot of information out to parents once we decide it is a good product. So we have to make sure it's great before we launch it to our parents.
Right now, are FSD staff able to see those reports if things are being blocked and they're alerted, hey?
Yeah, we have 90 days on everybody.
Okay.
So if there's an investigation, we've always got 90 days of background of what people have been looking, what they've been trying to get to, what's been blocked, and then what they have gotten to that's been unblocked.
Does that come as an alert, or is it something you have to actively search for if you want to find out?
No, we have to go get it.
You have to go get it. So there's nothing that says, hey, kids are going here, you might want to pay attention right now.
No, not right now. Yeah.
And would that be something that the parents would receive, or would it only be if they had a desire to check what their kids are up to?
If they want to go look, they would log in. Yeah. And those are things we'll look at too, is do they have a way to alert? Could they set, because in my dream world, there'd be certain words they could put in, they could check off, hey, these are your typical sort of alert words. Wouldn't that be great? Which is why we want to test it and make sure. So I want to tell parents this is exactly what it is and exactly what it's not. Because I don't want somebody thinking it's something it doesn't do. Right? Yeah.
Well, and there are a lot of resources out there for parents that can take advantage of that if that's something that they feel is important for their family. So it's great to know that we are exploring that too.
Yeah, the home piece. Yeah, absolutely. So presentations, so as you heard, CSBA, we presented again. Thank you to Bev and to Ruthie who came up on stage with me and helped sort of set the stage for the other board members in the room about what we're doing here and why. So we'll be at DLAC. At FSD Fest this year, we're going to try something new and have a parent class during some of the kids stuff. So if they're getting bored as their kids are playing esports, which nobody ever gets bored, as their kids are playing esports, maybe they could go down the hall and do a digital wellness class with us. So we'll offer that. We did Champions for Children. We're going to all the sites. In January, I'm going to be doing an AI Zoom for parents and sort of, what is AI? How are we working with kids? Maybe things they want to do at home on AI. Pablo and I are going to Orlando to FETC. We were asked to go there to present on the tiny home. And when we told them about digital wellness, they asked for that as well. So we're going to be presenting on both of those. And the Ensuring Justice conference with Ruthie. I'll be presenting there in March. And then our website and social media, again, we're just constantly trying to push out information to our parents to be as engaged as possible. So our mobile device policy came out, and we surveyed students really quick. It was like right after it came out, though, because all of our teachers do their digital citizenship lessons the first week and a half of school. So it was brand new. So I'll be honest, I should have had one question just thumbs up, thumbs down. I didn't. It was all open-ended. So sorting through 3,500 open-ended responses, it's amazing how many ways children can say no. Because I just said, do you have any comments? And nah, no, not at this time. No, but thank you so much. It was crazy. Some are very, very proper. It was wonderful. And some okay, no. But so about 20% negative, 70% neutral, 10% positive. Part of this is a lot of our schools were already doing exactly what our policy stated. They already had this in place. Pretty much every elementary, this wasn't a change for the students. So when they're like, no, or what policy? A lot of them didn't know because it was the exact same thing they'd already been doing. So it wasn't a big deal for them because nothing changed for them. So these numbers are, about where we're at. We had some colorful language because, again, it was anonymous. So they got to really be open with me. With their feelings of having their phones, not accessible to them. So it was good. Some honesty and openness, and it was great. But we had some positive too. Kids were like, "I hate this, but I get it." Some really cool of those kind of comments too, where they're like, "I don't like this, but it's better." I'm actually talking to my friends now more at lunch. But there's also the, well, why can't I, why can't I have it at lunch? What happens if my mom is upset and she needs to call me and I need to talk to her? So it was some interesting back and forth in the 3,000 comments. And we're going to do a parent survey in February to sort of see where our parents are feeling about the implementation of the mobile device policy. Staff feedback, 47% reported their jobs got easier because of this policy. So that's good. Very excited about that. 36% said about the same because they couldn't use their phones before anyway, so it didn't really change much. But this one I love. 73% feel it's improved culture, which is strange since some already had it in place, so I don't know exactly why it's that big, but I'll take it because that's what people reported, is that the culture at school got better because of it. 33% said students are talking more at break and at lunch. So the specific question was, what are you seeing at lunch? Are the kids talking to each other more? What's happening? And they were yes. So there was a bunch of check boxes, what's happened because of the policy. So 33% said there's talking more. 20% saying kids are playing more sports or other activities at lunch and break time they feel after the policy. So that's exciting. 8% still trying to use their phone at breaks, being sneaky, and 3% still complaining consistently about the policy. So that's sort of where we're at there. So again, we're always trying to get better. We're always trying to improve. We are going to be meeting, Josh and I are going to be meeting with 3 different companies in January, February. One is called Bark, one is called Gaggle, and one is our Lightspeed filter. What they do is they can do some tracking of how the kids are communicating with each other, what they're looking up online. It's sort of a Sandy Hook concept where there's an adult looking at things. Same kind of thing can happen. But we have to look at cost. We have to look at, are there humans on the other side? We have to look at, what are they looking at? I don't want them just looking at email. I don't want them just looking at web searches. They really need to combine and triangulate email, things being said in docs, and web searches to see where the real problems are or the bullying. But some of them can do things like they can look at the email, and if they think a child is sending a naked picture through our email system, it would actually stop it from ever happening, and it would alert the principal and say this was just attempted, kind of thing. So we're going to look at some of those. We're going to look at cost, and we're going to see which ones are really good and which ones just say they're really good, and then we'll make some decisions if we have the funding to move forward with that, and it's something that we want to do as a district. So that's on our books for February, March. We'll start looking at that with some principals on that committee too. We're thinking mostly that being a middle school piece. For us, if we decided to pilot that, it'd probably be at the middle school level. So that's a maybe, but it's something I wanted to put out there because I know we had a question from a trustee on that if we're considering that kind of technology. Okay. All right. So questions, thoughts, concerns?
Questions from our board? Thank you. Okay, let's start with James.
Doctor, how can parents request parents' classes? Like if one parent requests a class, is that enough? Should they work through PTSAs? How can parents request for a time and language that might work for them?
Sure. PTAs and principals are your best way. So, I always encourage the principals, just give me a call, and they'll call me. So I've requested to come to DLAC. I've requested, champions. I just put myself on the calendar and for the Champions for Children. But for the sites, yeah, as soon as a principal calls me because someone has asked for it, and I don't know if it's school site or if it's PTSA, but PTSAs could ask me and I'd come as well. But then we have, depending on the group, we have ed translation. We just need a longer time because, a lot of times it's sentence for sentence translation. I want to give them the full 45-minute presentation. So if it needs to be translated, we want to book an hour and a half so I can make sure I get all the information. Yeah.
Good question.
I don't necessarily have a question, but you mentioned the Hunt Library breakout room. I love that idea. Making it fun, but yet the kids are learning about technology and digital wellness. So thank you for doing that. I really think, especially for the 5th, 6th graders and junior high, I think they will really want to take this, want to attend and want to take this class. So I thank you for that.
Jeremy, just can you talk about whether, let me back up, technology is so important to, it's our state standards, it's important to our district, and as a parent, I think it's going to be incredibly important for my children's careers. But we have some parents in our community that are seeing dangers in technology, right? They're trying to opt out or looking for programs that minimize the screen time. Can you just talk about sort of what you're seeing with that? I mean, I don't think the data really covered that, but sure. How are we doing with our parents that are trying to get away from digital learning?
Sure. I will tell you that I mean, a couple things. One, we had some very good conversations with parents who thought maybe even at the lower grades, kids were on the devices consistently, where it turns out maybe at that grade level, maybe half an hour a day, and it was actually being used for May-Do time or for one thing a day. So it was actually a lot lower screen time than they had thought it was. Second is, we have standards all the way down to kindergarten that require the use of technology. So writing standard 6 was always one of my favorite ones when I was trying to get devices way back in the day. Not in this district had them, but in my former district, we had no one-to-one. So I would talk to my superintendent about writing standard 6, which for kindergartners, kindergartners will explore online tools for collaboration for writing. So that's writing standard 6 at the kindergarten level. So without devices, you can't actually accomplish writing standards. You can't accomplish speaking and listening standard 5, which requires you to utilize multimedia. You can't do reading formation standard 5, which is going online to research. So there are actually standards we wouldn't be able to teach if a child was completely removed from technology. There are some other things like LPAC testing, gate testing, things like that, where they are online now. Even our CASP testing. So the CASP testing is now fully online, and there's no paper copy of it. So a lot of it is communication. It's working with parents around. As you're at the lower grades, it's not as much as you might think. Some of it's probably going to be working with our teachers and the association to say, hey, maybe at open house, you talk a little bit about how often are they on the devices to maybe bring that affect down a little bit so they know, oh gosh, okay, it's only a little bit. But even at the middle school, we have 2 curriculums that are purely online. Like Amplify, your science curriculum, you have to have the device or you can't. There is no paper copy of that. It's all purely online. So yeah, I think there's a ton of benefit, but also help encouraging the parents on that MDM control of the iPad at home if they're concerned about too much screen time. We can do that as well. But yeah, I know that if Dr. Bob or myself were in a classroom and we were thinking, gosh, this is just on the iPad, that's all I do all day long, 7 hours a day, iPad, we'd be like, well, where's the teaching? Our teachers don't do that. Our teachers are amazing. We have really phenomenal teachers. They use it to accelerate their instruction and to like sort of accelerate the pedagogy. I've never walked into a class and thought someone was using it to babysit, or someone was using like, I'm going to go grade papers in the corner while the kids are playing. I don't see that when I do my visits. It's being used in a way to make the learning better and to accelerate the learning, or to differentiate instruction and personalize learning, which is one of our goals for the board too, is that personalized learning piece, which technology allows.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good question. All right. Yeah, I think our biggest challenge is probably uses outside of class, which is why I'm really grateful that our goal talks about teaching safety and digital citizenship and skills that they can apply when they're not on their protected FSD iPads, right? Because that's less of my concern. But we want to be teaching great kids great school skills so that they take them wherever they go. I have a couple of comments, but I love that 70% of the kids were neutral on this phone policy. I see that as a win. That's pretty good. And I think that the fact that almost half of our teachers are saying that this made their jobs better, easier, and that the culture has improved, that's huge, I think. That's what we really wanted to see. And I really celebrate that and the work that you guys have done. I think when I was thinking about those questions you were asking at the beginning of like, why do kids say they don't know what to do if a picture gets out, but then they also say, oh, I can control my picture, and you're saying, no, you can't. I think that's actually the tension that they're dealing with, because on the one hand, if you send a picture out there, you don't have control of it. But yet we're saying, but if it does happen, we'll help you with that. And there's only so much we can promise. There are new tools. There are websites at National Center for Missing and Exploited Children called Take It Down, where you can remove illegal, inappropriate images of children. But, if it's on someone's camera roll, we can't. So I think that's the challenge and the tension we need to grapple with, both as adults and with our kids, that they don't have control, yet we will be there with them, we will walk with them, we will help them, we will guide them, and that there's no shame or guilt or blame when these things happen, that will help you through it. So I think that's the tension we really need to wrestle with, and that's probably why in the data we're seeing this kind of like, they're getting both answers wrong or right. They seem contradictory, because they are. That's the reality that our kids have to grapple with and live with and figure out, and that's really hard to do. So I appreciate that we're working on it with them. When I think about what I want to do next, where I hope this goes and what we're learning, I think that there are 3 things I want us to stay focused on, and that is that trusted adult, helping our kids know what a trusted adult looks like, feels like, acts like. And it's not just a job or a role or a title, but it's how they consistently show up in their behavior. So even if we name all the people on staff, it doesn't mean they're going to be their trusted adult, and unfortunately it doesn't mean they're all trustworthy. They have to prove it over time with their behaviors. So we want to teach our kids to also trust themselves, to know who is that safe adult. So I think continuing to focus on that, we can dig in deeper. I think the staying consistent on the sextortion, online exploitation of children, we know that that's huge increasing right now. 300% increase in the last 2 years of children that are solicited for online relationships online. Kids think it's normal for adults to ask them for content. And so we need to talk to them about that. And that's that whole idea of, do I have control over this picture? How will someone use it? We have to continue to work and focus on that. But I think the addiction piece that, you asked about how many hours they're spending online, that's for me another piece we really want to focus on going forward is, the average, when they survey kids, preteens and teens, the average kid is spending 8 hours a day outside of the classroom work on devices in front of a screen. And that influences their health and their well-being, their social emotional well-being, their moods, their sleep, their social interactions, and certainly their ability to get schoolwork done. So I would, as we think about that again, kids need support, whether it's an addiction to pornography, to social media, to gaming. They need support without judgment. And our counselors need to be equipped with our mental health professionals to support that work. We need to talk about healthy boundaries. And again, it's less in the classroom and more how they go home and whether they're interacting with screens on phones or tablets or whatever that might be. And I think, our whole society is dealing with that screen addiction. And I think that's something that we need to learn to be better at and teach our kids how to do it too.
Great.
Just to jump in real.
I'm just taking notes.
Yeah, got you. Appreciate that.
Okay, Chad, can you give just hot off the presses 30-second version of to kind of address what Ruthie was talking about in terms of educating students to know what does a trusted adult, if that's not just a title, and actually there's some lessons and.
Absolutely, yes. We've been actually working with ASKIP, who is our liability insurer, and we have introduced a lot of new things into our district to help protect students from childhood predators. And one of the things that we'll be rolling out in the spring is a program called No-Go, which really teaches children what are activities that are go activities and what are no-go activities. And it really does focus on who are trusted adults and what is a trusted adult versus a non-trusted adult. What are welcome surprises versus unwelcome surprises. Talks about secret keeping. What are secrets you can keep and what are secrets that should not be kept. But really teaching children what is it that they should expect in adult behavior, both in person and online, and who are people that they can talk to if there are violations of those boundaries that they feel comfortable to go to. And really it's engaging and it's child appropriate, and it will be a very good learning for all of our students. And we won't just do this one year, be one and done. It will be an ongoing program that we'll have in place every year.
Thank you, Chad.
Just two more maybe questions, comments. With the reduction in phones, are we finding less incidents of students trying to bully for clout online?
That's a great question. I can add that to my staff one. There's a couple principals in the room. I don't know if they've experienced that. We don't typically get a ton of reports of those, but I know there were there's obviously still fights. I just don't think the phones are being pulled out as much when those things are happening. Robin, I'm sorry, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you're the middle school principal in the room. Are you seeing less because of phones? Are they still trying to pull them out when the fight occurs, or how's that going?
Well, I haven't had a fight in a while, knock on wood,
Yay.
so we'll say that. But I think that a phone can be out of a backpack in 2.2 seconds, so they're in their backpacks. But if the kids are wanting to record something, they're still going to. I think the biggest problem that we still see is stuff that happens after hours, which is not under my direct purview or unless it directly impacts school in a certain way. And so that's where sometimes there is comments made on Instagram posts or things like that, and then if it impacts somebody's mental health or impacts school settings in some way, then we will address it, work with our mental health team and those types of things. But it's not something we're seeing that's a huge pervasive thing, but that online presence does lend itself. People can comment, and they're very brave to say things that they wouldn't maybe say to your face, but they're more than willing to type it into a comment bar.
Keyboard warriors.
Yes.
Last one is, when are we going to get new data?
So we do the student data twice a year. So we do it right after the first set of lessons, then again after the second set. So May will be the next set of student data, but we'll do a February parent pulse on how the mobile policy is working for them and whether they like it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else? All right, thank you so much.
Sure.
We really appreciate your time and effort on this, and continue with how you guys are moving forward. All right. Okay, people, we're now at consent agenda. Are there any items anyone would like to pull or comment on our consent agenda?
I have some items I wanted to highlight.
Okay.
So I have photos that were sent to Anna because I'm really excited that we get to approve 2 consent items that were too good not to show. because they're gorgeous. Two new murals that have gone up at Fullerton School Districts, created by the brilliant muralist Carla Roque, who also happens to be a Fullertonian and an FSD parent. She goes also by the name of Lady Hope on Instagram and is known for her vibrant use of colors, honoring Hispanic culture and heritage and traditions, encouraging positive message, and especially child participation, as she oftentimes engages students in the process of painting and co-creating with her. So she's created murals at all 23 Anaheim district sites, but she now has murals at Hermosa Drive, the past one. And this is kind of the third at Raymond, because there's one inside the library, there's one outside the library, and now this one, You Belong Here, is outside of Raymond Elementary. And I got to talk with Principal Llewellyn about these a little bit. The mural, she said, was really a culmination at Hermosa Drive of an intentional process of exploring and building in more joy at Hermosa Drive. The teachers and coaches and mentors started a process of looking for and creating more joy in their day-to-day lives and for their students and themselves. And this mural was really a culmination of that. It is where, the other one, is where the students play. So that is now at Hermosa Drive. And when they learned that Carla Roque was a local FSD mom and an artist, they were just so excited to have her represent not only the joy and the fun, but also honor the Hispanic heritage of many of the students and community with her beautiful design that she's created there. And then the other mural at Raymond Elementary, we also have a kindergarten playground fence wrap by Carla as well, which you can see if you drive down Raymond Elementary, or Raymond Avenue. But it is now opposite the beautiful mural that is actually three-dimensional on the library there, and it surrounds the students as they sit and have lunch every day at the lunchtime tables. And I love that it's bilingual and it's dynamic, and the affirmation that everyone belongs here is really beautiful. So I wanted to share those, and this will be finished complete very, very soon, and Hermosa Drive is now complete, so y'all can stop by and see them in real life.
They're beautiful. All right. Anybody else have any to add? What's that? I know
There
that.
are awards assembly in front of it.
Oh, that's perfect. That's a great picture opportunity too. Yeah, so bright and cheery. D and E on there. I think our contract with Kim Gamaros, teaching Inside Out, our SEL lessons. Great things happening when she was working with Orangethorpe, right? And so I think that moving that outside of that and expanding it is a great idea. She really does great work in providing our teachers with resources and what they can do to help their students along. So appreciate that. Anybody else have anything to add?
If not, I move to approve our consent agenda.
Okay, it's been a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second. Any other questions? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, thank
President Berryman, 5-minute break, please.
you. A break, certainly.
Thank you.
5 minutes, good?
Yes, please.
Okay, 5-minute break. section 12, where we have an organizational meeting of the Fullerton School District Capitals Facility. So we have to adjourn, so hold on, I've got my other script. Okay. So I'm going to adjourn the meeting of the Board of Trustees, 7:51. And I'm going to call to order the annual organization meeting of the Fullerton School District Capital Facilities Corporation. So you guys are now at another board meeting. You can say you've hit a few board meetings this evening. We have before us a slate of officers to be nominated for the Capital Facilities Corporation. They are: the president of the Board of Trustees shall be appointed as the president of the corporation. It's pretty cool. That would be me. The clerk of the Board of Trustees shall be appointed as the secretary of the corporation. That would be Mr. Rooney.
All right.
Dr. Bob Pletka, superintendent of the district, shall be appointed as the vice president of the corporation. Dr. Robert Coughlin, assistant superintendent of the district, shall be appointed as the chief financial officer of the corporation. Do I have a motion to approve this slate?
I motion to approve the slate as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right. Any questions? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. We are now going to adjourn that meeting of the Capital Facility Corporation. So now you guys are on to your next meeting, and you don't have to drive. All right. I'm going to now call to, oh, that was at 7:53. Okay, now I'm going to open or call to order the annual organization meeting of the Fullerton School District Financing Authority. We have before us a slate of officers to be nominated for the Finance Authority. They are: President of the Board of Trustees shall be appointed as the President of the Authority, Bev Berryman. The Clerk of the Board shall be appointed as the Clerk of the Authority, Armini Tukura. Mr. Bob Pletka, Superintendent of the District, or Dr. Bob Pletka, Superintendent of the District, shall be appointed as the Executive Director of the Authority. And Dr. Robert Coughlin, Assistant Superintendent Business Services of the District, shall be appointed as the Finance Director of the Authority. Do I have a motion to approve this slate?
I motion to approve that slate.
Is there a second?
Second.
I second.
All right, thank you. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I'm now going to adjourn that meeting. That was a really quick meeting. 7:54. And then I'm going to reconvene the meeting of the Board of Trustees. So now you're at another meeting. 7:54. Okay? That's a formality. Each time we change the organization of the board, you have to change the organization of those two the authorities. So thank you for bearing with us on that formality. All right, we're good?
We're good. You'll get new business cards with your name.
Did we get a raise?
What's that?
Never mind. Don't want to start something there, sorry. Okay, now we're on to number 14. We're going to discuss the naming of Parks Junior High Art and Rec Center. There's no vote on this one, it's just a discussion item. So we'll...
So just to kind of define what we're talking about, we're not talking about naming, we're suggesting So we're not talking about the actual naming or what we should name. This is really just to give you an idea of what we would need to do if the board wants us to proceed. So the next step would be to form a committee, and that committee then would create some recommendations and then would come back before the board. Potentially, you could do one committee to only look at parks. You could have two committees, one to look at parks, one to look at Nicholas. You could have one committee to look at both. Those are options. And then the only timeline, so just a couple things to think of. So if your mark was to try to get there, we will have a groundbreaking ceremony, just as an FYI, on the two gyms and, of course, / Performing Arts Center. so we will have a groundbreaking, which you will be the primary people there with ceremonial shovels and dirt. And then theoretically, and that should, this is construction, so just please give me a lot of leeway when we talk about construction, because it can change. But basically right now, the goal would be in late January, February, probably February is more realistic for some sort of groundbreaking, which would be all of you. If you wanted to try to get a name, then theoretically you could invite them to the groundbreaking ceremony. There's no necessity to do that. That's just a why 2 months. The other possibility is probably, though, if you are going to name it after, probably by the end where construction is completion, where there is going to be another ceremony where you'll all be invited to. That would be a nice time that if you were going to name it after somebody, whether they posthumously, that you would invite their family, potentially, friends, and then, or if they were living, then you could potentially invite them. So those are just things to think about. You're the board. You can do it any way you want. So that's some things to think about. 1, do nothing. Okay, that's a possibility. You can just say, thank you so much, Dr. Bob, and we're moving on. So that's 1. 2, hey, you know what? We just need some time to think about it. We have 2 new board members. You know what? Maybe we just want to wait another month and bring it back. So that's the second possibility. Third possibility is, you know what? Let's move forward with a committee. And then you really need to say, do you want 2 committees or 1? That would be kind of a different possibility. And then finally, your timeline. 2 months. I would say if you're planning, though, to name it, for sure at operation time where we're celebrating the completion, I would definitely say you probably, if you're going to name it, you would want that name in place by, and again, I will tell you what they said, and you can take it all for a grain of salt, with a grain of salt. Theoretically, Nicholas could be done in September, and Parks theoretically could be done in October, but it's construction. So when I pressed the contractor who's doing this job, he said, I feel very confident by Thanksgiving that it'll be done. So anyway, so with that in mind, just open up for discussion, and it's whatever you would like to direct us. Again, we're not talking about the actual name this evening. It's just a process.
I have a couple clarifying questions.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask. So we have a board policy, 7310, that talks about naming facilities. In here, we said a citizens advisory committee shall be appointed to review the name suggestions and submit recommendations for the board's consideration. Who appoints that committee?
You can do it any way you want. I mean, you can delegate that to us, and we would do it. I will say, though, if we do get a committee together and you want us to pull it together, we'll get representation. We'll get site representation. So as an example, if it was at Parks, we'll make sure that we have people like the PE department, Performing Arts. It's also Performing Arts Center, so we'd have somebody there. Potentially, we would have someone from the broader community, maybe one of our partners. We do we have a lot of great partners. And then, of course, people like the principal would be part of those things, right, Robin? That'd be good. And so the idea would we have a diverse, both from within the school as well as community groups, and parents definitely would be part of that. I will say I do have a bias in that I don't like committees that are 25 people, so my bias would be that we would have committees that were probably, if we were doing 2 different ones, probably in that 8 to 14. If you were having one large committee, then potentially 20 different people. So just, you can do it either way you want.
Thank you. All right, so we can open this up to discussion then. Does somebody want to start?
Yes. I, last year when West Fullerton Little League mentioned that they wanted to restart practices at the field that's adjacent to Nicholas Junior High. They indicated that the Lasorda family had expressed some interest in maybe having the field named after Tommy Lasorda. So a couple board members were approached, and that was when we first brought up the naming issue, because I've always said, and I'm excited about this, the Sugarman, Institute of Technology or Science at Nicholas Junior High has been something that I'm very excited about. With regard to today's discussion, I think one committee to address the naming of both sites, both ARCs, would be helpful. I think staff can put together the committee. It's going to have people maybe from both sites. And then because I am so excited about this, I'm still of the opinion that the first new structure to be built in our district should be named after one of our recent board members. So those are some of my suggestions. I don't think it needs changing of the motion from the last meeting, but if the committee can be formulated to look at that, I think that would be very exciting.
Do we have any recent precedents of buildings or spaces named recently in the last 10 to 20 years? Has it happened?
It's been a long time. The last naming was at Laguna Road.
Okay.
And it was the theater multi-purpose room, and it was named after Sully.
Okay.
And for those of you who don't know, Sully was the principal at that site.
My principal when I was there.
Oh, yeah.
I personally was wondering if we could move backwards from the finalization date. Making a decision by February feels quite rushed to me. So I think if we work back from about August and kind of plan backwards from there, to me that makes the most sense. My only concern with this is I do want to respect our policy and the fact that we are asking folks, if we're going to ask folks to be on a committee, I want to make sure that it's legitimate and they have power to come up with suggestions and recommendations, and it doesn't feel like a foregone conclusion that, we want this name and here's a committee and tell us that you chose that name, So yes, we have an opinion. We've expressed that through our motion on the board, but I like the idea of having the consideration of two different naming options so that there are multiple options that the committee can feel like they can actually bring new ideas, new input, and see where the best fit might be for either one, and possibly for, multiple ideas.
Ruthie, are you talking about one committee or two committees?
In my mind, I actually thought about maybe a generative beginning where everybody could be together, put together ideas, and then maybe breaking out of more one focused on Nicholas, one focused on parks, because I think while they could keep each other informed, there's going to be different desires to represent the community differently, different things that have more impact and connection to those different groups. That was my thoughts. I don't know if that's more complicated to do it that way, but kind of generating ideas and then separating to then focus on what are they going to do at each
That
site.
makes sense. Getting them together.
It's
Dr. Bob
explaining the same process to both.
Yes, explaining the process and then separating. Yeah, and I agree with Trustee Tokor that the administration is more than capable of putting together these committees. They know the policy. They know who has knowledge of this policy and who's able to create something like this for us. So I agree.
I want to make sure that kids are represented, though.
Yes.
Yeah. Students and former students too. I think having alumni would be a good.
James, no.
Yeah, I mean that might be a double. It might be a parent and alumni, but somebody who can say, "Well, in my day, this is what we did," and that brings that history too.
Parents are definitely important. I feel like parents from that community, maybe even some that attended that school and know the community well, would be important to have in these groups.
President Behrman? Yeah. Yeah, so I'm really glad that the timeline for the gym at Parks was able to be accelerated, in part because of the successful bond passage. I would favor the creation of two committees because each site is going to be particularly important to its respective community. I would also trust the administration to appoint members. However, I would like to see this board define the number and the category of those appointed. In my mind, 8 to 14 seems like a lot. And one person.
Smaller would be fine.
Yeah, smaller would be fine. So
Just saying.
I would favor something along the lines of 5, and we can represent parents' voices through the PTSA president or whomever. And I think 5 is a manageable number that we can discuss right here on what 5 roles or categories we want the administration to find. And so 2 sets of 5 to represent the communities respectively, and seeing if they can come up with 2 names for the board to consider.
Anybody have anything to add to that?
I want to ask one other question. It's maybe opening up a can of worms, but you mentioned the Lasorda family. Do we have any desire to name, even temporarily, one of these gyms and performing arts centers based on a partnership that we might expect to see an investment in our students? You know, if we were to say, name the bleachers after a performing arts community, and they provide lighting and sound, and, you know, or the basketball hoops are named from, you know, a sports team. There's obviously incentive, not to say we want to sell out our students in our spaces, but there could be a partnership that we could create. So I'm wondering if that, I know there's pluses and minuses with that, so I wanted to know if that's something that our folks, our board would be interested in pursuing.
I do think the building could have a name, the stage can have a name, the basketball court could have a corporate sponsorship, the scoreboard could have some investment from the community. So yes, I think if the community group, the board, were to look at those options, that would be something that would be beneficial to the district. Trustee Joe, are you thinking a teacher, PTSA rep, a student, a principal, maybe a classified employee?
Yeah, so in my mind, I was thinking PTSA president, student body president. 3, you know, instead of promising to fix school lunches, they can make a substantive contribution here. 3, a non-parent, someone who does not have children in the school but is a part of that community, because we know a lot of these schools are used in capacities beyond our schools. That's number 3. The 4th would be the principal, and the 5th would be a non-principal faculty member, so classified, teacher, whomever. So that would be 5.
I think I would say 5 minimum, maybe
Yeah.
7 maximum, just in case you have a school that does have more staff or has a community in that presence, right? It's sometimes the community wants to have input on what we're doing. So I think if we give you the ability to add maybe 2, I mean, I would say 2 max, if you felt like there was extra staff or extra parents or somebody that was valued.
We definitely want to make sure that everybody's input is valued and heard. And so I don't want to limit the number of people that are going to be able to have a voice and have a say, especially if it's in their community. So I would definitely say minimum of 5. I wouldn't just cap it. But if we feel like Bev said, if we feel like there needs to be another community member that needs to have a say, I would definitely agree with that.
I like what James has proposed, though, because almost everyone is a representative with a circle of influence that they should be pulling from, right? If you're PTA president by president or selected by your PTA, you're supposed to represent them. That's up to them to then do the work and go back to the community and say, hey, what do we think, right? And do that role as a representative. I think the student body could do the same. I would probably just divide up classified and CSEA, because there are natural representative groups that they already represent and feed back into. And then I don't know if I'm missing anybody else, but that makes sense as far as a representative role that then would be responsible to go back to their constituents.
So I do have a question about this. I think we would need representation if there weren't public meetings about this. Is the committee required to hold public meetings to solicit input?
I think we are.
It's part of the process. When the board takes action on this, that night there's a public hearing, so it will be posted, an opportunity for the public to come in before a vote is taken and provide
But
input.
at that point, you would have 2 choices, right, for the board to decide between is there a requirement for however many members we decide to be on the committee for them to solicit input before they finalize their recommendations?
We could build that into the process. It's not built into the board policy, but it could definitely be built in so that we have enough meetings that not only would they meet, but there would be an expectation that they would go back to their representative groups and get input and then bring that input back to the meeting. I do feel like, 20 is too many, but 3 meetings is too few. So we need some time to gather that input, and so the expectation would be for each group, each member to go back to their group, get that feedback, and then bring it back to the whole group. So we could build that in.
Okay. Then I'm going to craft a motion here.
I don't think, are we voting on this?
No, but
for direction.
But we're giving direction.
No, but I definitely need direction
okay.
because there's definitely
Then
multiple ways. So
how about,
I appreciate it. Yeah.
How about in response to Trustee Estrella, number 1, PTA Senate President. Number 2, Student Body President. Number 3, a non-parent member of the community. 4, Principal. 5, a teacher. 6, classified. 7, another parent. With direction that there is convening a meeting prior to the nomination of 2 suggestions for each facility with 2 different committees. So that would be a minimum 14. And my request then would be at those meetings where they solicit feedback from the community for that nomination for there to be both Spanish and Korean translators.
Yes.
How about alumni?
I
Do
agree.
we want to add alumni to that? Or is our alumni our committee or our community?
I mean, we do have another parent or we do have another person that we can include that could be alumni.
We have community, non-parent, and PTSA and a parent, right? It went kind of fast.
Is parents a community? It was parents PTA, right? Or PTSA, community, classified, certificated, right? Student voice, principal,
And the 7th would be a parent
outside of PTA,
outside of PTA.
which could be an alumni.
Which could be alumni. Yeah.
That sounds good. Consensus, thumbs up. You sound
Yes.
good direction.
Sounds good.
Good direction for you?
Yes, very clear. Thank you.
Very clear. Yep. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Perfect. Oh gosh, where are we? Okay.
14.
Approving, oh, look who's up. Dr. Clackwood, let's go. Okay, it's time to
go.
hear about the approving the first interim. So let's listen to our financial, our first interim report.
Okay, President Berryman, trustees, Dr. Pletka, staff, guests, anybody that's celebrating an wedding anniversary tonight. I want to welcome everybody.
That's right.
I didn't say anybody's name. That's all I'm saying there. So.
His wife's
Would you like to send a message
Debbie's there too.
No, I can't. I'm not saying anybody's
No,
name.
she's right here.
Where is she?
I didn't say anything.
Is this your date night?
Happy
Or it's
anniversary.
anniversary night.
What are we going to do with you?
Uh-oh. It's going to be reflected in my evaluation, I'm sure.
From Debbie, yes, from your wife.
Multiple levels. Okay. So tonight we are here to present the first interim report, which all of you received a draft or a presentation here. You also received the actual document, which is much thicker. I won't be going through the entire document. I'm going to try to summarize this in about 8.5 minutes. And at the end of that, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those questions. So, first interim report, what is it? It's a review of the financial status of the district from the beginning of the school year to October 31st of 2024. Staff spends the entire month of November over Thanksgiving and all the holidays getting it ready. In addition to this time period, we review the subsequent 2-year pattern after this year for revenues and expenditures. And first thing I like to do is I like to look at where did we say we were going to be when we adopted the budget, and the board adopted that, versus where are we now at first interim. And we're really focusing on the general fund and just the unrestricted portion of the general fund. That's what we've done in the past. The entire report, though, has the general fund, restricted, unrestricted, and all of the other funds, which will not be presented on, but will be approved, asked for approval for tonight. So, the general fund, unrestricted revenue. At adopted budget, we said that for this year, revenue was going to be $146.66 million. At first interim, we're doing slightly better. That's good news. We are at projecting $147.72 million. That's an increase of about $1 million. What's responsible for that? We had a slight increase in the state lottery revenue, also an increase in our interest revenue. So that's good news on the revenue side. On the expenditure side, we have seen our projected expenditures, they're going down $1.3 million. At adopted budget, unrestricted expenditures were projected to be $148.28 million. Now we are projecting $146.98. So revenue's up, expenditures down. That is very good news. And so we started the year with a beginning balance of 24. At budget, we thought it was going to be 24.52. Remember, we had a slight surplus last year, so our beginning balance for 24-25 changed to 25.49 million. When you put in the revenue and the expenditures, we're projecting an ending balance of $26.23 million. Now, that entire amount of money, it kind of comes in parts. Some of it is reserved for economic uncertainties. The state requires us to set aside 3% of our total expenditures. That's the $6.14 million. The $11.5 million, those are funds that were committed by the Board of Education a couple years ago for facility improvements, also declining enrollment. Those funds can only be made available if they're uncommitted by the Board of Education, but they can be uncommitted. The assigned funds, more flexibility there with $2 million. And non-spendable, this is our stores account, our warehouse account. That really leaves an unassigned ending balance of $6.42 million. The assumptions that we used are on this next page here, and it has to do with the COLA. Lower COLA this year, we knew it was going to be low. The cost of living adjustment for 24-25 is 1.7%. The assumptions that we use for the out years are higher. This is not a number that we just pick. This is a calculation. It's provided to us by the county. It's calculated by looking at 8 quarters of growth in the economy. And so this number could change and may change. You remember a year ago at this time, we thought COLA for this year was supposed to be at about 3.5%. And then there was a possibility it could be 0%. Well, it ended up at 1.07. You can see that our LCFF dollars per ADA is going up. Our enrollment is projected to go down next year to 11,055. We're at 11,280 right now. For our projections, we use an attendance rate of 96.98%. And the good news is our funding is based on a 3-year average. And so our funded average daily attendance for this year is 11,108. And you see it goes down slightly in the out years. Our unduplicated count is steady above 60%. You see we're at 60.79. That is also a 3-year rolling average. We do have expenses built in to our budget for step and column increases for all groups. And the good news is there are no STRS retirement increases projected for the out years, but there is some slight PERS increases. And as I said earlier, you're approving the first interim report. It's a spending plan for this year from the start of the year through October 31st. You also need to approve the 2 out years. And so where we are right now, with the assumptions that I just read, we're showing a expected surplus this year of 0.74 or $740,000. For next year, a projected surplus of $2.12 million, and the following year, 2.55. The asterisk by there, This does not include any negotiated settlements for this year. I will tell you that typically at first interim, the number, provided the COLAs and we don't have pandemics and things like that, the picture gets a little bit better as the year goes on. We take kind of a conservative view at the beginning of the year on our revenue. We don't really know what interest is going to be. We don't know what some of the lottery money is going to be. We also have some positions that are funded that could remain unfunded just because we can't get them staffed. So I would expect to see that surplus go higher as the year goes on. So that is good news. So with that, and then we can go back and answer any questions you have. There's some certainties and there's some uncertainties in the budget, and they don't really change. They haven't changed for the last couple years. We are in a position of declining enrollment, which means we know that we have more 8th graders leaving the district, going on to high school, than we have students coming into the district at the lower grades. That's not unique to Fullerton. That is happening all over California. All over Are there some areas that are growing? I'm sure there are, but the vast majority are declining. The good news is there's a mechanism for that. When they do a 3-year average, that even though your enrollment goes down and your ADA goes down, you don't get hit in 1 year. So it's kind of a soft landing. So we thank the legislators for that. Health costs continue to rise, and we still have high STRS and PERS employer rates, pension rates. There are some uncertainties, and they can go either way. They can go good or they can go bad. CBOs like to kind of project that they're going to go bad. I think some of them may get better. TK kinder enrollment is still kind of up in the air. Where are we at? We're kind of flat on the number of students that are coming in. It hasn't grown a lot. Attendance rate is better than previous years, but it just takes one really bad flu, cold season to really hit your attendance rate. We continue to combat this with Saturday school recovery to try to keep our attendance rates up. The state deficit, I've attended some workshops. As a whole, the economy is pretty good. It's pretty good. It has some holes in it. There still could be some inflation out there. So we're watching that. Future COLAs are always, up in the air. How the feds, and we've got a whole new administration, how the Fed responds to inflation with the different interest rates. The stock market and the economy, it's doing well now, but that could change. I mean, we've seen it happen. It can go gangbusters and then take a turn. And we still don't know about the Middle East and Ukraine and what's happening on the world stage, which impacts the national economy. So the district, for first interim, there's 3 certifications that the board votes on. And it's a positive certification, which means the district can meet its financial obligations for the current and 2 following years, or a qualified certification. Qualified means you can meet it for this year, but there's a possibility that you might not be able to meet it next year or the following year. Or a negative certification, which means you're not going to meet your financial obligations. We are not in the negative category. We're not even in the qualified category, so we don't need to go there. So staff recommends a positive certification, which indicates the district's able to meet its financial obligations for the current and subsequent fiscal years. Next steps is, and this report always happens in December. We'll submit this report to OCDE, the Orange County Department of Education. In January, the governor will come out with the 25 to 26 proposed budget for next year, and we'll be going to workshops on that. We're going to continue to monitor enrollment and spending. We look at it on almost a weekly basis, monthly for sure, to see how are we tracking. We will prepare the second interim report. Second interim report goes from the beginning of the school year to January 31st. And we will present that to the board in March, in the middle of March. And based on that, before we get to any questions, I do want to thank Damien Ibarra and Joanne DeClaro and all the staff for putting this together. Thanksgiving was really nice. I'm sorry you guys didn't get to have it. No, they did. They're getting really good at this. They're very good. They are one of the best teams we've had, so I want to thank them for that and all the other departments that worked with them to put it together. So with that, I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have about this very good first interim report.
We have questions. We'll start down here.
For the parents who, like me, recently learned about ADA, can you explain what average daily attendance is and why it matters to the budget?
Great question. So we hear about enrollment, and enrollment is very important, but ultimately the way that we receive the vast majority of our money in school districts is when kids come to school. So if a child comes to school every day, that counts as one ADA. It means they've come 100% of the time and you receive whatever funding is. Let's say one ADA equals 12. Let's just do some, well, I like superintendent math because we have a superintendent here. Let's just say one ADA was equal to $10,000. If a student only came to school 95% of the time, their attendance rate is 95%, so you don't get the entire $10,000, you just receive $9,500. You get 95% of the ADA. Prior to the pandemic, our district and other districts usually ran in the high 97s, almost 98%. But now, post-pandemic, and we don't want people and students coming to school and staff when they're sick because they get other people sick. So attendance rates have gone down, which means less revenue for the district. And so we've done some things like, main thing is the Saturday school recoveries. We hold some of those a few times a year where students can, if they've missed a day, they can make up the day and the district then receives the funding. Now the good news, as I said, is if you have a bad attendance rate one year, it's averaged over a 3-year period, which is nice. So if you get hit really badly in 1 year, it's not gonna kill you. However, if you have a bad year, it's gonna stay with you for 3 years on the average.
Thank you. And you projected declining enrollment for 2 out years. Beyond that, do you see a bump or a wave in any kind of recovery, or is this going to be the general trend? Because I ask this because, before coming into this seat, and right now, I continue to think that declining enrollment is probably the biggest long-term threat to the district. So do you see any chance of recovery, or do you project beyond the 2 fiscal out years that it'll continue to decline?
It's interesting because back in, prior to the Great Recession of 2008, a lot of districts were declining. They were declining in Orange County, and I'm sure Fullerton too. And what happened during the recession is it became more difficult for people to afford to live. Many of them moved back home with parents. So you had some people that moved out to the Inland Empire and then they ended up moving back home. That was a phenomena that happened. Could that happen again? I guess it could, or maybe a different phenomenon. What I do know is the number that I'm projecting, it's a pretty safe number. I can tell you with 1,000% accuracy, the number that I'm projecting is absolutely wrong. It will either be a little higher or a little lower, okay? I almost want it to be one of those things. The good news is we watch it and we look for trends and we position the district in such a way that we have, I call them soft landings. So we do have retirements every year, and when we see that enrollment's going down, then we don't backfill those positions, and we make adjustments. So yes, it is trending lower. Could it go up? Sure, it could go up. There's a greater chance that it's going to continue this nice steady decline going down. But after that, I really only look out. I'm concerned about next year and the following year. After that, it's so far out that I hate to make recommendations that would all of a sudden just bring our system crashing down where we say, oh my gosh, we've got to stop.
Rob, you talked a little bit about at a previous time that we saw the new group coming in stabilizing, but you had that kind of original wave of larger class sizes. And so some stabilization as that kind of wave of kids that were larger, in 6th, 7th, and 8th,
Correct.
leave, and the incoming classes are slightly more stable.
We used to have class sizes that were in the 1300s and 1400s, and we have kind of stabilized in about 1150 to 1200. So there is some stabilization that is happening. And in the future, prior to coming in second interim, I can provide especially the new board members, but kind of a history of so we can look at those trends and I can share those with the board.
It's frustrating that that a lot of these things are beyond the school district's control, right? Just general socioeconomic conditions determine whether or not parents can afford to live here and raise kids here. One of the things that we can control is, for example, increasing CalFresh enrollment. So I'll connect with the superintendent and see how my day job can help there, because I would love to get families the help that they need, but also benefit the district in terms of getting more funding. So thank you.
Yeah, and the good news is it's actually relatively easy to figure out our enrollment for our district, because however many first graders we have, they stay in the district and they become second graders, and second graders become third. So we're not having this exodus of people leaving, which is a testimony to the education that they're receiving here. And so like you said, we do even look at birth rates and incoming.
Well, I found it really, Yeah, I found it really helpful that a few years ago, or last year when I was still relatively new, you gave us a list of all the declining enrollments in all the school districts in similar communities throughout Orange County. And it's really about new housing and where families are moving in for new housing. And if Fullerton's not building affordable housing for families, we're just not going to get a lot of new families coming here. And so it's really about, that's a major challenge of our community, and throughout Orange County we're seeing the same reflection.
Anybody else? Anything to add? I was going to say the same thing, housing, and as we look at new development and some of the housing that's out there, I think that we'll start to see, what that brings in. But yeah, okay. All right.
I did what you both said about housing, and but I also love the fact that we have an incredible district. We have so many programs that we have students coming from outside of our district that want to come into Fullerton, and that shows and that tells you what an incredible community and district Fullerton School District is, and all the amazing schools and programs that we have. But yes, decreased enrollment has a lot to do with birth rates and housing. Those are, I think, two of the biggest issues that we're dealing with, which again, it's out of our control. There's nothing we can do about that. I wish we could.
Rob, what do you need the board to do?
So the board needs to
softball
vote
there
on this, and the recommendation is
so we need
positive.
to approve the district's first interim financial report with a positive certification. Per state guidelines, a positive certification indicates that based on current projections, the district will meet its financial obligations for the current and subsequent 2 fiscal years. So I will need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, it's been a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
A second.
It's been approved and seconded. Any other questions before we vote? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you so much for all that hard work. I am going to ask, and I'm sorry I should have done this earlier, there's an item 15A in our discussion area. It's just an administrative report, and sorry, Rob, I'm going to put you on the spot here. 15A is a 5-year developer fee report, which is an admin report. If my colleagues will approve this, I would ask that we move 15A to now, so that Rob can finish with his, and then maybe if he wants to
Go out on with his date for the night.
Now that I know she's here, and this is date night.
I told you this would work.
So do you guys have a problem with moving that up at all? No. Okay. Are you okay with doing that now instead of later? Okay.
Sure, I am. All right, so I'll have Anna.
Yeah, so it's 15A, developer fees mid-year report. our presentation. It's a presentation only, so.
Correct. The board's not taking action on this. And you'll remember, I think it was maybe a month ago or 2 months ago, we came to you and we presented, I did a very fast developer fee report. We found out is with new laws and new legislation, they want a little bit more. And so what you have is we're doing a 5-year plan. We're looking at the period from July 1st, 2019 to June 30th of 2024. We have 6 months after the end of that period, which is December 31st, to present this to the board. At the next board meeting, we'll come back. There's an opportunity for a public hearing, and then the board will approve the report then. And so briefly, developer fees, remember these are fees on new construction in the community for the potential of future growth of students or programs. We do have capacity in our district, so it doesn't mean if you have capacity in your district that you can't levy these fees. And so you can see here, the high school district is the the third-party administrator. They collect the fees. They receive a third of the amount of fees collected, and the other 2/3 comes to the elementary district because we have more students here. The fee is set by the state, and every 2 years they adjust it. And for the last 8 years that I've seen here, the board has agreed to adopt the new rates. You can see that right now we're at new residential fee, $5.17 per square foot, and commercial fee is 84 cents per square foot. Part of the deal, part of the reason for this is when we collect these fees, we have 5 years to spend the money. If we don't spend the money, we have to give the money back. And it's not uncommon to you don't have to spend it all in 1 year because you may know of some future programs or facilities that need to be built, like gymnasiums at Nicholas and at Parks. So that's one of the reasons why we haven't spent all of the funds. But this shows here that we ended last year with an ending balance of $1.9 million. You can see that last year we collected $1.3 million, but we only spent $84,000. Again, in anticipation of using these funds for the Nicholas and the Parks ARCs, or gymnasium / performing arts theaters. And so we do have some unspent developer fees. That's what this report is all about. We have $1.9 million less the interest, and so adjusted developer fees are $1,899,763. We'll spend the old money first. We still have 2 more years to spend that $243,058 that was collected in 2021-22. We'll spend those first, so we're fine there spending the money. As part of the report, and if we don't know specifically, and at the time this was put together, we didn't put it down, but the purpose of which the unused fees are going to be utilized, we will put that in the final report for next year. The relationship between the unused fees and the purpose, so the fees identified above were charged for the purpose of addressing future classroom facility needs throughout the district. How they're going to be spent, identify all sources of funding. So as we know, with the ARCs, the gyms and the performing arts theaters, we know they're not fully funded out of developer fees. There will be some capital facility funds, there'll be some bond funds, there'll be some general funds that are used on those projects. Also, the approximate dates of which the funding will be done. So the capital improvement funding has been received in full. So what happens next is, per government code, this report will be posted on our website for public review, and we will bring it back to our next board meeting. And Damien, I do believe is Damien still here? Yeah, there's a public hearing, I believe. Is there a public hearing? No, it needs to be made public. Okay, made public. I'll double check. I was thinking in the back of my mind there maybe has to be a public hearing. If there is, we'll do one. If not, it's made public, and we would bring it back to the January board meeting for the board approval. So with that, are there any questions?
Questions from our board? Okay, seeing no questions, then thank you so much for this report, and we'll look forward to seeing that again.
All right. I'm probably gonna stay. I think the board meeting's gonna be done in about 2 minutes.
I do want to ask one question.
Ron,
Yes,
happy
Ron.
anniversary.
I'm curious. We could just talked about the affordability of housing, and then there's these residential fees, which I know the state sets the rate, and then we just say thank you very much when new residential and commercial buildings are built. I mean, what would be the other option? We could just say, no, we don't want to collect these fees?
You could say, no, we don't want to collect it. I will tell you,
I'm not proposing that, I'm
there's
just
an
asking.
area up by Dr. Bob's favorite dining establishment that's going in, and it's going to generate additional students at Laguna
Yeah.
Road and Parks.
Yeah.
And the money that we receive from those developer fees, which
builds new classrooms,
probably will be maybe about $600,000, that will go for, we're going to need to expand at Laguna Road. The cost of a portable, when you're done, a brand new portable can run up to $1 million. So even the developer fees won't fund what we're going to need to do there. So if the board chooses and says we don't want to collect developer fees, that's always the board's right to do that. It doesn't erase the need that of, we've got new students coming into the district, so we're going to need to increase some capacity in facilities.
Well, and we assess them, right? I mean, each year you come back and say we have an opportunity to
There's
raise
every 2
them.
years there's an
Right,
assessment,
right,
correct.
right. So-
Yes.
Okay, I was just curious.
Rob, please leave. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Happy anniversary.
People are also celebrating.
All right. Okay, then we're going to go back to item C. And we have before us approving to adopt our Studies Weekly, the new TK through 6th grade history social studies curriculum with an 8-year license. Dr. Brown.
Thank you. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Cabinet, community members, staff. So we do want to come before you, and on behalf of Ed Services, I am Dr. Brown, Assistant Superintendent of Education Services. Last month, we presented a Studies Weekly curriculum presentation to the board and the community. We had teachers speak, staff, input from students, parents, and our own district staff. And I do want to say thank you to all of the people on the committee that put in so much time and effort, and all of the community members that also gave public input, as well as contributed to the survey data. So tonight we are coming to you to submit a motion to accept the Studies Weekly curriculum for the TK through 6 social studies adoption. This would allow our publisher and the district to work together to make sure that all teachers are trained and ready to roll out the new textbook adoption by August of 2025, and then we can begin working on the next adoption, which is math. So at this time, I would like to ask the board if they have any questions regarding the TK through 6 curriculum, and to, if yes or no, would you put forth a motion for acceptance of the adoption?
Okay. Do we have questions? I want to start one question. Did we have any input after the last presentation to now from anyone in the public? Did anyone input based on what you presented last time?
No, and we still directed everyone towards the survey, the district website, so nothing since then. Actually, just positive feedback. We did have positive feedback that everybody, the people that responded were actually really excited about the curriculum. They were excited about the inclusion, that the state is making an effort to make sure that multiple perspectives are represented. So we did have positive, I won't say we didn't have any, we did have positive input.
That's great. Okay. How about from our board? Any questions? Any comments?
I actually have a comment. As I emailed you earlier today, I was here for the presentation, and I am just happy and excited to actually be here, part of the board, to be able to pass this, because I feel like it's very important, and I have my notes here. I think it's wonderful to see that children will have the chance to learn about history in detail by exploring ideas and being able to learn about different cultures. But not only that, I know when I was little, I would get in trouble because my mom spent a ton of money on those back in the day, the encyclopedias. And we didn't have a computer at home. So whenever we needed to do a project, I would always cut out pictures when I was doing my research out of the encyclopedia. So whenever my brother and sister had to do the same research for the same class, they would find holes. So I love the fact that these kids are going to be able to take these newspapers and not only be able to read them, but also use them as part of their class and as part of their projects. I found that extremely exciting for them. And so, that took me back to my childhood and me cutting out the books. I would get in a lot of trouble. But I love the fact that these are going to be resources as well for them to be able to work on and do projects and be able to take them home and not just leave them in the classroom. So thank you. I'm just excited, as I emailed you already.
Yeah, thank you for that positive email. I really appreciate it.
And the
You're
pictures
welcome.
look like them, right? It's like looking like people that you
That
can
look
see
like them.
themselves in
Yeah.
those books. So yeah. Okay. Then do I have a motion to approve to adopt Studies Weekly, the new TK through 6th grade history social studies curriculum with an 8-year licensing commencing on the 25-26 school year through 2032 to 2033?
I make a motion to approve all of what Bev just said.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any other comments? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay.
Thank you.
Go and negotiate your good deal. All right, item D, Chad.
Good evening, President Berryman, members of the Board of Trustees, Executive Cabinet, and the remaining audience. For the moment, that part of the night you've been waiting for, I'm here to present item D, which is a memorandum of understanding between the California school employees and the district regarding the increase to minimum wage. The minimum wage increases on January 1st, 2025, and we have not yet completed negotiations with CSEA. So as a result, we have one range and step on our salary schedule that affects just one group of newly hired employees that isn't up to the level of the new minimum wage yet. This MOU, after working with CSEA, would create a increase to that one range and step to meet the new minimum wage requirements.
Any questions? All right, do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Okay,
Second.
all right. So it's been moved and seconded that we approve the memorandum of understanding between California School Employee Association, CSEA, Chapter 130, and the Fullerton School District regarding Range 7, Step 1 of the classified salary schedule. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. All right.
All right, our next item is item E, and this is another memorandum of understanding between California School Employees Association, Chapter 130, and the Fullerton School District. And this is regarding the retroactive accrual of sick leave, vacation time, and holiday pay for classified employees. And it's a little complex, but I'll try to explain the process. So as Dr. Copeland mentioned earlier, there's constantly changes and updates to education code and state laws. There was a change made to education code that says if an employee works less than 12 months, and we have a large number of employees that work less than 12 months because they work a school year. So if those employees work extra days or extra hours during the months that they normally don't work, they should earn either sick leave, well, they should earn all of the above, sick leave, holiday pay, or sick leave, vacation leave, and then also holiday pay. So we were applying old contract language that we had in place that said you have to work 20 consecutive days in order to earn those items. And after working with CSEA, we reached an agreement that we would put the education code in place as opposed to our contract language. And then as required under the education code, we're providing employees with 3 years of back accrued sick leave, vacation leave, or holiday pay. So we're making some adjustments and need to go back and make those employees whole who should have been made whole either for 2021 summer of 2022, or the summer of 2023.
Great. Any questions? Okay. Seeing none, do I have a...
Was it this year of 2021 when the ed code changed? It just took us this long to realize
Well,
this?
and with most, it was that long ago, but with most education codes, it changes, but then there's also the interpretation and what does this mean. We were not the only district in this situation. Matter of fact, most Orange County districts were in exactly the same situation.
Okay, thanks.
Good question. All right. Do I have a motion?
I'm happy to move to approve the MOU.
Okay, so
I
it's
second.
been moved and seconded that we approve the memorandum of understanding between the California School Employees Association, Chapter 130, and Fullerton School District regarding the retroactive sick leave, vacation, and holiday pay adjustments for summer work. All right. Any other comments? All right.
Give them their money.
All right. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, thank you. You're on a roll, Chad. Keep
All
going.
right, item F. Here you go. You've been waiting. Actually, this is a MOU I'm very excited to bring to the board this evening. This really, as again, is another MOU between CSEA Chapter 130 and the Fullerton School District, and it's about our PAL process and how we're able to work together with our associations to help our employees. And so one of the things that we were looking at is our bus driver classifications. Our bus drivers don't work full 8-hour days because they pick up students in the morning and bring them to school. Then they have a break in the middle of their day and they pick up students at school and take them back home in the afternoon. And so we worked with CSEA to develop 2 new classifications that will be 8-hour days for our bus drivers, but also help fill district needs during that time. So for the first position is what we call a bus driver food service assistant. So in this position, the bus driver will drive the bus in the morning, pick up the students at home and take them to school, go to nutrition services and help at nutrition services. And we're very excited because they actually will be going out to our schools to work a grill and actually on a rotational basis provide grilled lunches to our students. And then they clean up and they come back and they get back in their bus and they go and they pick up students at school and bring them home, allowing them to work an 8-hour day. The second position is a bus driver 2. We have a lot of field trips here in the district, and we have a lot of these trips that require some very specific expertise, like being able to drive a large bus up a mountain in the snow. I don't know, I've been to Big Bear just seeing people drive their cars, and they don't do well. But we really do have an extra level of expertise needed, and that's what the bus driver 2 really is that driver who can help drive the snow, drive up into the snow. Not only do they have to be able to drive up in the snow, but they have to be able to put chains on a bus tire. Again, I've seen people try to put chains just on their car tires. But it's a whole other level with a bus. So this bus driver 2 is a step above the bus driver 1. It's an 8-hour position, but they are really responsible for helping ensure that our buses are driven in the more difficult situations, they're driven for field trips, and that they're helping support the rest of our bus drivers in the bus yard.
All right. I'm so excited that our district is so creative in being able to provide our staff members with the opportunity to increase their hours, their benefits, keeps them happy, keeps them here, gives them that ability to do something different, and then progressing for a bus driver 2, giving people that next step up and really identifying that there is a skill and there is something that we really truly appreciate. They've got our littles in their buses, and we really want to make sure that they're being treated right. So thank you. Questions? Comments?
I wanted to affirm. So when we say that a staff person will then have 8 hours, that's a full-time position. Do they receive full-time benefits from that new position? Okay,
Yes.
It wasn't mentioned, and I assume so, but I wanted to be sure.
They receive, right. Otherwise, the benefits are prorated if someone works less than 8 hours. But these drivers, these 2 new positions, will receive 8 hours per day and full-time benefits.
Great. That's great. I was wondering if it would make finding bus drivers more challenging for some of our occasional field trips? If a kid's going to a class is going to a museum, or do we have enough standby that those folks doing lunch aren't going to be
We do. We have
putting us in short supply?
Standby, and we do have a process in our contract with how those are offered on a rotational basis based on seniority. So we do have many of our current drivers who are ready and waiting to take on additional trips. And there are many days when almost all of our drivers are driving for field trips, so they stay very busy.
Okay, does that just mean more coordination if they're not able to then do lunch?
Well, these drivers,
these are separate.
These will be separate. So these drivers will no longer
Guaranteed
drive
8
field
hours.
trips
Got it.
during the day. Now, if there's a weekend field trip, they're still eligible, or an after-school hours field trip, they would still be eligible for those trips as well.
Okay, thanks.
All right, any other questions, comments? All right, do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
All right, so it's been moved that we
A
approve
second.
memorandum of understanding between California School Employees Association, Chapter 130, and the Fullerton School District regarding the new, hold on, sorry, new bus driver, food services assistant, and the bus driver 2 classifications. All right, it's been moved and seconded, right? Any other comments? All right. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Just one couple shout outs. So first of all, to the CSEA leadership that worked on this and their innovation and courage. It's making these sorts of change. There's internal pressures. Also, a big shout out to JD. He advocates for his team. And came up with about 50 different ideas. So thank you, JD, for all the work that you've done, and the CSEA, and also the transportation department. Good people that really want to serve our kids. And I know the transportation rep was also very involved. So thanks for all of you that made that happen.
Additionally, I'd like to shout out to Paul
Paul, I'm
Dynas.
sorry,
And the
Paul.
Personnel
And also
Commission.
his work with the
Paul.
Personnel
Yeah,
Commission.
And the Personnel Commission for
and helping it
approving
all
this.
make sense in
Right.
our classifications and working with our Personnel Commission to put it all in
Yeah,
place.
I mean,
Thank you.
this looks like it's easy, but this we know is that this was a process, and this was very, very hard to move through. So we really, truly appreciate it.
A lot of
Thank you.
moving parts, yes.
You might as well just stay up there, right? You have one more admin
That's
report.
right. You don't get rid of me yet.
Okay, item B.
All right, item B. So this is a required component prior to entering into negotiations with CSEA. They have presented for public review their initial bargaining proposal for our 2024-2025 negotiations. And so there is no action taken on this, but this just allows this to be sunshined and to allow the board or the public to make any comments they would like to on the initial bargaining proposal. Once this has been sunshined, then we can move forward to start our negotiations.
Okay. And you do not need a vote from us. This is
We do
just,
not, no.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any questions for Chad on this one yet? And if anyone has questions, they can contact you.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, we're on the item now. Board member requests for future items. This is a time where board members can bring up something that they would like us to add to an agenda, add to a communique, possibly sometime in future board meetings. Usually one person will present it and it calls for a second and then we can get it going. So anyone have anything to add now? I know that we all have our calendar of when things are scheduled to come to meetings. So I know that there's so many things that we're very excited that are coming up. But if there's something that needs to go on that is not on yet, now's your time. Okay, seeing none for now, is always later. We will then adjourn the meeting at 9 o'clock exactly.
All right.
Thank you guys. Thank you for staying. Happy holidays, everybody. It's holiday.